Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 354 of the Ping Pong Flicks episode. I've got a few DCEU updates for you in regards to Batman, the Justice League Snyder Cut, and also the new Snyder Cut letter campaign that the RTSnyderCut is sharing today. First things first. This is probably should have been more of a tinfoil. But seeing that this came from a scooper and almost hinting in a sort of way, possibly, or trolling, who knows? But I'm going to read it to you anyway. So Umberto Gonzalez just put out this tweet today that's he just out of the blue. He said, 20 years in Gotham, Alfred. We've seen what promises are worth, how many good guys are left, how many stay that way. Now, that could be in talk. It is the quote from Batman v Superman of Ben Affleck's Batman character talking to Alfred about Superman, but he also mentions 20 years in Gotham, and so a lot of people are kind of wondering, what does that mean? Is he just he's seeing Batman v Superman and he saw that part, decided to tweet that out? Is referring to possibly something that's happening in Warner Brothers in regards to Batman or something? Or is he simply hinting that the Batman, Matt Reeves' The Batman, which is set in the 90s, is exactly that? Setting 20 years before whatever happens, the things that happen in Batman v Superman. 20 years in Gotham, Alfred, meaning Robert Pattinson's Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman, is the prequel to Batman v Superman, is the younger version of Ben Affleck's Batman. Is that the case? Is this what we're seeing here now? Now, and before this whole thing, before Walter Hamada and all that came in, Matt Reeves had responded on Twitter a long time ago that the ways when he's put out that the Batman is not part connected to the universe, and then he had to kind of change. He kind of came out also on Twitter saying that it's part of the DCEU, it's part of the universe. It's just not connected. There's not gonna like another superhero to show up. So he's said that before. But when Robert Pattinson got casted, many people believe that this is a recast, this is a reboot, and that could be the case as well. The problem is that Warner Brothers is not saying anything. Imagine if they could just come out and says this takes place 20 years before Ben Affleck's Batman, like that. That's so simple, or this is a reboot. This doesn't take 20 years before Batman. We're just it's a completely new take. They could just come out and say that and end all the speculation, but no, they don't. They just let it go. They're not even paying attention too much of the media in terms of what they're reporting on things, and they're just letting it slide. They're not coming out commenting on anything. They're not saying what's true and what's not. Nothing, just complete silence, which is for the most part good, because they're letting him do whatever they need to do. They're letting the movies come out, but it kind of gets a little bit weird and toxic, and also expectations as well that kind of floats in the air on what it is and what it shouldn't be, and it really will put people to ease on either to say, hey, are you done with this? Then you're done with this. If you're not done with this, then here like the Snyder Cut, in fact, like they're completely silent right now on the matter, but we're continuing to be voicing our disconcerting about that they're not releasing the Snyder Cut and things like that, but we're going to continue voicing our opinions on that. And Warner Brothers has not said a word, even though Business Insider, Washington Post, all these articles are coming out, right, regards to that. So that's what I'm getting at with this, like how we were getting hints and things like this. And do they even mean anything when the movies finally come out? So then we'll actually finally know. But it's almost maybe intentional, like they're building their own hype in a sort of way, and trying to people speculate, so it's like you would have to go and watch it to find out if anything this any of this connects or not. I mean, I would have imagined something like how Todd Phillips has pointed out. He says, you know, this is not connected to anything. This is my own original take on Joker. I'm not connected to any at all. It's not even connected to the comic books. And then it would just kind of put people's expectations to a certain level without overhyping or trying to speculate. And it's fun to speculate as well, but at the same time, it kind of draws negativity towards the movie because it's overloaded, and then it doesn't happen the way people think it happens. And so I'm glad that Todd Phillips came out and talked about the Joker, so it kind of just puts it in place right now, so that when a movie comes out, we're not even talking about those expectations anymore. So Matt Reeves' The Batman, is it a prequel? Is it a reboot? Who knows until we actually see the Batman, right? So, and maybe Matt Reeves is still quite some time away, and maybe Matt Reeves will talk about it a little bit later as they go through shooting and things like that. Robert Pattinson in the costume and stuff like that. So maybe we'll find out later on as it get closer to production, or even during production, and after production into post production. Okay, so I talked about how more articles are coming out about the Snyder Cut, and I'm talking about how it's not about. It's not like comicbookmovie.com. I mean, they're still talking about, of course, Heroic Hollywood, of course, movie webs, things like that. But now it's like even more. It's like outside the realm of our usual entertainment media. And with that being said, it actually broadens the matter, broadens the subject matter to more the general audience, to people who aren't even paying attention too much of the fandom, not in the know like we are. And you can tell when it's hitting a lot more, because we're getting a lot more tweets saying, guys, I thought it doesn't exist, because that whole the Wall Street Journal was supposed to kill everything, but in turn we're just repairing it to the level that it was from then on, and that we're gaining a lot more traction, we're gaining a lot more audience and followers, and it's all thanks to these people who are writing about it, who felt the need and compelled to write about it, and puts us in a better light than ever before. And I really like this and what's being done. And maybe it's not all positive in the articles, but for the most part it is. So the first one that was recently released was from the whitewolfsports.com. And you would think White Wolf Sports, it's about sports thing. So it's kind of like The Ringer, where it was kind of like a sports site, but they do have some entertainment. So outside of the realm. But it's going to new readers. It's going to readers that have never looked into the subject matter before, and are now being exposed to it because of these sites that are made for those people, and so now those people are more aware of this side, and I think that's a great thing. So anyway, this is by Ron White. Warner Brothers should release the Snyder Cut of Justice League. It's been nearly 20 months since Justice League was released in theaters, but fans are still clamoring for a release of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice director Zack Snyder's cut of the film, known as the Snyder Cut, by the diehards that have strongly voiced their displeasure with Warner Brothers. The director's cut would deliver the vision Snyder had when he was initially tapped to create the DC Extended Universe DCEU of movies. Snyder left Justice League in post-production, and the Avengers director Joss Whedon took over and made major changes to the film. Aside from the common daily criticism of Warner Brothers online, Snyder Cut supporters have started petitions that have received hundreds of thousands of signatures, and the release of Snyder Cut hashtag recently went viral. Excuse me. And it's not just fans that want the Snyder Cut, as the DCEU's Aquaman Jason Momoa has been clear that he is with the fans that want to see the Snyder Cut. And they posted this video from the MTV News where Jason Momoa is just as obsessed with the Snyder Cut as the rest of the internet. Momoa isn't one to hide his feelings, and you could tell by the way he said it that he genuinely wants the Snyder Cut to be released. Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg, also said he wants the Snyder Cut released, and apparently a lot of his character story and the plot of other heroes was cut from the Justice League after Whedon took over. And the other actors like Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck have had only nice things to say about their former director. Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot also holds Snyder in high regard. Snyder was the main person that selected the stars like Gadot to play the DC heroes, and most viewers, whether they love or hate Snyder's DCEU films, seems to be happy with the casting choices he made. All the actors are, or were in the case of Affleck and potentially Cavill, awesome. In terms of the look and attitudes of the characters, Snyder knocked it out of the park. But in terms of the film plot and tone, Batman v Superman in particular was not well liked by critics, despite many common non-film critics that loved it, as supported by those in favor of the Snyder Cut being released. This was a big factor in disappointing box office performance, which was without question the main reason Warner Bros. Went in another direction with their slate of superhero movies. However, it is totally not right to cut up and essentially destroy Snyder's vision. After Justice League was nearly complete, Warner Brothers chose Snyder to lead their important franchise, and they should not have brought in Whedon, who obviously had a vastly different idea for how Justice League should be, adding more forced comedy similar to that of the Marvel franchise. Messing with an artist's vision simply isn't right, and that's what happened with Snyder. In general, it just didn't make sense to not let Snyder finish what he started, as, love it or hate it, he had everything mapped out for the journey of each character. At this point, with so many people, including stars of the film, that want to see the Snyder Cut, why not just release it? Would it make Warner Bros. Look bad if the Snyder Cut is considered superior to the theatrical cut? It's probably either that or the Snyder Cut isn't as ready to release as its proponents want to believe. Either way, even an unfinished product would draw plenty of interest. Some people have even put up some of their own money to help complete the visual effects to make the Snyder Cut as complete as possible. That might not actually make a dent for a necessary budget to get it done, but it does indicate that releasing Snyder Cut would make money from people willing to see it in theaters or buy it in home video form. The announcement video for Warner Media's new streaming service, HBO Max, which includes Warner Brothers and DC movies, showcases Justice League among the top content that will be available. So Warner Brothers is somewhat proud of the product Whedon ended up finishing. Unfortunately, that could be the death knell for us ever seeing some sort of version of Snyder's Justice League. Or maybe HBO Max could be enough to push the Snyder Cut over the top. If Warner Media believes releasing Snyder's vision is enough to get a bunch of subscribers, which would almost certainly be the case, it would be a good decision as they look to compete with Netflix and other streaming services. The reason this is a discussion is because so many people, Momoa and Fisher being two of them, are passionate about it. The only hope is that the support keeps going, maybe for years or decades. The Richard Donner director's cut of Superman took 26 years to release after a similar situation took place. The movie was made lighter under the new director, and some might believe the Snyder Cut is worth that long of a wait. Incredible article. I like how he words it, love it or hate it. It's essentially almost like a crime, right? To not let a director, like he said, not let a director finish the movie that he started. He had something planned out. He had it mapped it out, and in this article, it's making it sound like it's a crime. So even though it kind of feels like he may be like not too happy about the Snyder's vision, he understands that this was his vision and you should let him finish it. So I love these type of articles where it's kind of like a non-biased look at at the situation and choosing to look at the outside, how it's showing empathy for Zack Snyder, showing empathy for the vision, showing empathy for the fans that have come a long way, regardless if it was, to a lot of people good or not. Regardless of that, it's the right thing to do. So, great article today by something out of our realm, out of this current media that we're in the movie media, and from none other than White Wolf Sports.com, which they do have an entertainment section, but it's not widely used, like Entertainment Weekly, the Hollywood Reporter, things like that. So incredible stuff. The other article today is from once more Business Insiders, also talking about this again. Many followers. I think Travis Clark talked about this before, but he put this out today. And you know what? Before I put this out, I'm gonna talk about what this article is gonna be referring to. And this is a letter campaign that at RTSnyderCut has officially put out today. It doesn't have too many details in terms of when and what to write and things like that, but just getting off from this image, I'm going to read it to you. Send to Sarnoff. Send to Sarnoff. Together, we have made incredible progress. Thanks to our combined efforts in tweeting to Warner Brothers and new CEO Ann Sarnoff, publications such as Business Insider and the Washington Post have picked up our story. It is clear now that we should be preparing to contact Ann directly and let her know of our wishes for her to release the Snyder Cut through a new letter writing campaign. For this to be successful, we have to resist our natural urges and be strategic. Having made contact with a studio insider from 20th Century Fox, who have also recently undergone a similar reshuffle, we have discovered that anything and everything on the desk of new management in the first few weeks gets brushed aside. We do not want that. The advice we received was that he should wait until she officially starts work at Warner Brothers and time the letters to arrive exactly 1 month after that. A recent report from Variety states that Ann will take office in late August. We should therefore time our letters to arrive in mid-late September. So in the meantime, what can we do? Well, we can prepare. Let's make this letter writing campaign bigger and better than ever. In the next few weeks, we'll provide information assistance on what to write, but we also thought it would be fun to add a twist. We will provide a printable template for this Zack Snyder currency, see below, which you can add to your envelope. This represents the money we would be willing to spend on the Snyder Cut Junkie XL's score and other Snyder Cut merchandise. Finally, as things become clearer with respect to Ann's arrival in her new office, we will publish a postage schedule for all around the world to ensure all our letters arrive at the same time. Until then, remember, great things come out of patience, and patience is the art of hope. And I like this tweet that accompanies this picture here. My wife just laughed at me. Official event announcement. This might be the only thing we do that matters. 2 years of fighting bloggers amounts to nothing. Bloggers are like weeds, Alfred. Pull one up, another grows in its place. This is about the future of the Snyder Cut. This is our legacy. Powerful words, and that was it's an homage to what Bruce says to Alfred before he prepares to fight Superman in Batman v Superman. So that's pretty cool. Really, really cool stuff. And you look at this currency, depending on when this is done, I'm gonna pull up, hopefully you get a closer look. It's got Snyder's face on there. There's little words in there like the Justice League Snyder Cut, and little cool little nuggets on this little bills that Ramesh has graciously made, and he's such a awesome thing. I can even look up the left hand right. Look at Take My Money Please, SC 17, 2017. That's when the original Justice League movie was came out. Snyder Cut Justice League, and I can't really see, but I don't wonder what those signatures are. It might be Ramesh, not sure. But in the back, you've got the Justice League standing right there. Of course, that's from the Snyder Cut. That's an official, well, not official, but Zack Snyder posted that picture on Vero at one point, and it's looking awesome. So 100 bills, hundreds of bills. Brandon Valenza, he already printed up, and it's like a wad right there, just flaring it out, and that's awesome. That's an awesome thing. And even just imagine having those envelopes packed in, and Ann Sarnoff was opening them, where her assistant or secretary, and all this money comes out. They're like, "Oh, look at all these Benjamins." Oh, they're not Benjamins. They're Snyder currency. Whoa, that'd be pretty awesome. And I kind of remember someone doing something. Someone tweeted about some kind of show. Was it True Love Faith? I think she put. I don't know her real name. Sorry, but she had put out a show that they wanted to be remade or continued on, and so fans would send them Tabasco sauce or something, and then they had the desk is the room was filled with Tabasco sauce, something like that. So this may be that type of what we're trying to do, and I think that's awesome. It kind of makes it show much more massive, and it's cool. I mean, just imagine just wads of money just flying out, into that room, like imagine the secretary coming in with more. And there's more. Miss Sarnoff, look at this. There's piles of this everywhere. It's going to be pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, and I can't wait. So September, it's going to be after Project Comic-Con by a few months. So be patient, and we'll learn more from at RTSnyderCut. But in the meantime, if you want to print out these money and just lay them all out and getting ready to ship them out, fly them out, you go ahead and do that. So, like I said, there was one more article that is in concern to the letter writing campaign, and this is a Business Insider Travis Clark. Justice League fans are planning a release the Snyder Cut letter writing campaign aimed at Warner Brothers' incoming CEO. Zack Snyder fans are planning to launch a new letter writing campaign directed at Warner Brothers' incoming CEO Ann Sarnoff in their latest effort to get the Snyder's Cut of Justice League released. The official release the Snyder Cut Twitter account announced the plan on Thursday. How crazy is that? To have Business Insider saying the official release the Snyder Cut Twitter account. That's awesome. It is clear now that we should be preparing to contact Ann directly and let her know of our wishes for her to release the Snyder Cut through a new letter writing campaign. The announcement said, for this to be successful, we have to resist our natural urges and be strategic. So, I already read you that letter. Sarnoff is expected to take over in late August, and the campaign will time the letters to arrive a month after that. She will replace former CEO Kevin Tsujihara, who resigned in March following a report that alleged he had a sexual relationship with an actress and promised to help her get her roles. So in the meantime, what can we do? And this is pretty much the announcement that I read earlier, so you can go back and listen to that. When Warner Brothers announced Sarnoff's appointment on Twitter last month, true believers in the Snyder Cut immediately started pleading in the comments for her to make the cut available. Release the Snyder Cut has become a rallying cry for those who want to see Snyder's full version of Justice League. Snyder left Justice League late in production after a family tragedy, and Avengers director Joss Whedon stepped in for reshoots. After a while, this becomes kind of like say it over and over and over, and which is great because it kind of makes it becomes a factual thing to people who think the Snyder Cut is a myth. So I like that they keep raising that issue, that it's showing more empathy for Zack Snyder. Fans even raised over $26,000 for advertising at this year's San Diego Comic-Con in an effort to raise awareness for the Release the Snyder Cut campaign. Half of the proceeds will go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, according to the GoFundMe page. I'm glad they said that. A lot of different articles, especially the ones with like the clickbaity ones, They don't mention that at all. They're thinking 26,000 is going towards the Snyder Cut or something, or or just the advertisements. Half the proceeds are going to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, so that's awesome. And that's pretty much it. So incredible, lots and lots of gaining traction. It's getting really great now, and to the point that Business Insider is actively looking at the Release the Snyder official Twitter account. How crazy is that? That's awesome. You know, we should be expecting a lot more articles from other sites now, as we've gone past. This is the thing. We've gone past, even the articles show that we have definitely gone past the questioning of his existence to, are they going to release it? Right? So we've gained so much ground. We've gained, this is another tier, another part of our movement, another, goalpost have reached. It has gone past the question of existence to the question of release. We are getting there. We are winning, and then we're continuing to make that noise until Warner Brothers release the Snyder Cut. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.